YouTube, what's going on? Woody P coming back with another one. Let's get it. Today we're going to talk about why your imprint actually controls your dating market and how you view the opposite sex. It's a dark topic. I wanted to cover this. A lot of people talk about dating, and your partners and situations you end up in, but people don't talk about the root. And your imprint is actually the root of how you end up in some of the situations that you end up in when it comes to dating and, mate selection. So before I start the video, please watch the entire video, and if you like the video, subscribe to the channel to receive more content like this, just content about life. Yeah, your imprint. A lot of people don't talk about this. What is your imprint? For men and women, it's different. Okay, your imprint is your first couple partners that you have intimate, have sex with, have intimate relations with. So for men and women, it's different. For women, the imprint really sticks with them because they hold sex. Sex is more sacred to women, I'll say. So they can always tell you, most of the time, women can tell you how they lost their virginity and probably who they lost their virginity to. You follow me? Make sure y'all take out y'all pen and paper today. I got the Harvard t-shirt on, man. Start taking notes. Classes in session. So women, they hold sex in a higher regard. Sex is more sacred. So they can tell you who took their virginity, how it happened. So if a woman, let's say, somebody in her family does something to her when she's really young, like he touches her, makes her feel very uncomfortable. Her upbringing, as far as her opinion with men, will be she won't trust men. If that was her first encounter of like some type of sexual act or intimate act was with like a family member that's older than her, or just a family member period. But definitely somebody that's like an uncle or somebody that's in her family that does something inappropriate to her, or like her mother's boyfriend, she'll have a hard time trusting men. She'll have a hard time trusting men as far as, growing up, talking to men and dating and things like that. But if her imprint, that can be her imprint too, like something that happened inappropriate, like an uncle that touched her, when she's very young. That was her first encounter with, sex or anything on the intimate side. Her imprint can also be what type of guy she's dealt with. What I mean by that is this. If she typically like bad boys, that's kind of what she'll always latch on to. Like if her first partner, her first boyfriend, or she lost her virginity to like I guess you could say a bad boy, somebody who's, always on the go, not very faithful, didn't really show her affection. I guess that's what you can classify as a bad boy, I guess, when we're young, I guess. So if she like that, that's kind of what she'll always attract to. That's her imprint. And it's very hard to control your imprint because you have to want to control it. Because I'll give you a perfect example when I get to the men. I'm going to get to the men right now, matter of fact. Our imprint is a little different. We might not, unless it's a girlfriend, we might not necessarily remember when and how we lost our virginity. Like we have an idea, but like if you're moving around, you having a lot of sex as a guy, you won't remember, unless it was your girlfriend, you won't necessarily, or unless it was something very crazy or drastic that happened, like, you won't necessarily remember your first partner. So men, first partner is usually whatever they can get their hands on. And it could be a big girl that's not very attractive. But if that's his first couple partners, that's what he'll always latch onto. Anything he can get. That means he'll settle for anything. That's his imprint. I was lucky enough, when I lost my virginity, I had a girlfriend. She was very pretty. So my imprint is always gonna be like pretty girls. Like, I can't settle for nothing. Like, I don't settle. Because of my first 2 or 3 girlfriends all my girlfriends been pretty, you know. But yeah, being serious, all my first 2, 3 girlfriends were all pretty. And they all kind of looked the same. So what you'll notice about your imprint, you'll notice, guys, I'm talking about the men, guys will know which women they attract. And guys will feel me on this one. Guys, you'll be out and you'll know, like, oh, I'm about to talk to her, I'm about to get her. Because you know something in your past is telling you, this is my type, this is my tribe, this is what I'm attracted to. And usually that's when men are very successful, when they just don't even think about it and they just go for it because they already know, like, that's their tribe, that's their type, that's their imprint. And I say it's hard to get over your imprint. And your imprint could be good or bad. Like I say, if your imprint you lost your virginity with like a girlfriend or boyfriend and you guys had a real strong relationship, you won't never settle. You'll always be looking for somebody or somebody you can build with. But if you just randomly lost your virginity and it was just, somebody you really didn't like or somebody you didn't necessarily care for, you'll always kind of just settle for what's ever out there. Unless, this is where I get to the point where I say it's hard to get over your imprint. Unless you grow up, and I'm gonna get to the men first on this. Like I say, your imprint could be good or bad. So unless you grow up and say, sometimes you know the women that's not good for you also. So unless you grow up and say, like, you can have an imprint as far as women that's always neglected you also. Let's get that straight. You can be when men are always rejected, they get real timid. So they'll only go for certain type of women. So your imprint could be good or bad. So sometimes you'll see yourself in a situation you can be like, damn, I know she don't necessarily, this not really my type, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. Knowing your imprint with this type of female in your previous history hasn't been very successful or no positive outcomes. But you'll go for it anyway. Then you get rejected. But you knew, like, shit, I just tried that anyway. And that's hard to overcome because you always want to feel like as you get older, you mature, like things change. Sometimes things don't change. Like, you have a tribe of women that like you. You have a tribe of women that actually don't like you. It's just weird like that. It's really hard to explain. It's just weird like that. But like I said, you'll also see some women out when you're out and about in public that you'll know right away, I'm gonna get the number, because you know that's your type. So it could be good or bad. Let me get to the women. In the women's case, they could know that they've always been unsuccessful with the bad guys or the bad boys, whatever you want to call them. But if that's what their imprint was, they'll always still kind of gravitate towards that type of guy, unless she really grows older and really matures and can say, I'm not gonna go in that direction because I've been there before. And it really takes, and let me be clear, it takes a guy to make a woman forget about her imprint and take that history away. You have to really put on to a whole different side of life and how she just view life in general, to the point where she feels like a new woman. I'm gonna just be real. That's the only way you can kind of remove that imprint. Other than that, you can be the greatest guy to her. But if that guy kind of, that bad boy or whatever type of guy she likes, her first couple intimate partners, if he comes around, it is like a vibe that you get to her. It's like an energy. She knows it when she sees it. If he comes around, he can always, you know, I'm not gonna say do some damage to your relationship, but he can also always just be in the way. I'll just say that. If she's not mature enough to block him out, because it's tough. Your imprint controls everything. It really does. Unless you mature and you don't let it. And this is why I say your imprint controls the dating market and how you view the opposite sex, because you're always gonna latch onto your imprint unless somebody's put you onto a whole different side of, you know, life, and you have a whole different perspective. You're always gonna kind of latch onto your imprint, and that's hints to why you're not successful dating. That's how I bring that full circle. When you keep letting your imprint affect all your dating options, it's gonna control how you view the opposite sex. It is. You have to mature, you have to get over that phase. And it's tough, especially if, like I say, if nobody puts you onto a different side of life. But like I said, for the men, sometimes they like whatever their first couple partners was. If it was big girls, unattractive girls, they won't have a problem settling down with that. They won't. Because they never had standards from the start. You get that? They never had standards from the start. See, at least if you lose your virginity to your boyfriend or girlfriend, at least you can say, I had some standards. Like, you're gonna remember that. You're gonna remember that. So yeah, your imprint for women And man, it's a little different. But yeah, I wanted to break that down. That imprint is crucial because it controls how we view the, the dating market and what we gravitate towards. It really does. That imprint is crucial. Yeah, it's a dark topic. People don't cover this. People don't talk about this. And they wonder why we're not, successful. They wonder why they're not successful, dating. Because you keep going back to what you know best. Or what you think you know best. Yeah, I hope y'all brought y'all pen and paper out. Class was in session. Had to bring out the Harvard tea. Had to. That's how we're gonna start the week. Witty P with another one, baby. Had to break that down. Had to break that down. People don't talk about the imprint, and that's crucial. Definitely wanted to go in depth about that. Imprint is nothing to play with. You gotta get over that. So like I said, sometimes it can be good, but most of the time it's not. Because we're young, what they say, we're young and dumb. We're young and dumb. So, the imprint, Witty P coming with another one. Comment, like, subscribe. That's how we're gonna start the week, baby. That's how we're gonna start the week with some heat like that. Talking about the imprint. Ain't nobody talking about that. Let's get it. Comment, like, subscribe. Coming with another one, baby. I'm out.